Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to another beginner progress video. It's been like 3 weeks since the last time I posted, so this is just a continuation of the last video, pretty much all the way up till September 8th. So yeah, as per usual, the dates are going to be on the pages, and I'm basically just going to commentate everything that I've been practicing and doing over the past 3 weeks. So for this first one, I'm not really sure how much explaining I really need to do. I think I was just trying to learn how to do perspective, if that makes any sense. And basically what I do is I just throw in the perspective lines when I don't really know what to draw, and then I just kind of like think of something on the fly, and I guess this is what I came up with. And I usually have this habit of like blocking everything in and spending like, I'm not sure how long this took me, but until the point where I get burnt out, and then I just move on to the next page, because I don't know, I take burnout as like a sign that I need to move on and do something else that's fresh. So I just kind of stopped it right there, just moved on, because even if I wanted to like flesh out this entire like scene and add all the details or whatever, I'm not sure really what I would get out of that, other than like, I guess, a pretty picture that I really don't care about that much, because if I did care about it, then I wouldn't have gotten burnt out. So that's all I gotta say on that matter. This right here was basically just me trying to draw something from imagination and seeing how far I could push my understanding of anatomy. So this is what I came up with. And then I was, again, I just drew the basically the body first, and then I wanted to look online for some sort of like reference of, I guess, like a Star Wars armor and stuff like that, and then I was going to dress up the character. But once again, I was like, no, this is good enough. I don't really care. I got what I wanted. I'm just going to move on to something else. So again, that's what I did. And then here I found a AI image. I didn't know it was AI until I started drawing the hair, and I realized like part of the image, like one of the hair strands was like just floating. I was like, oh, okay. But I'm pretty happy with how this came out. It's really just more for practice more than anything. It's really what these are all for. And then this was a picture of like an Assassin's Creed character on Pinterest, and then I just threw like the Ermac mask on them, and then gave them like this little, whatever this is, and then this down here. So yeah, and then at this point, again, I really don't know where I want to take my art, so I just started drawing like Mortal Kombat characters, and this was just another image I found on Google for Smoke from Mortal Kombat. And then again, when I don't know what to do, like I don't know what I want to draw for the day, I just default to portraits, I guess. Terrible, I know, but whatever. And then more images I found online of Mortal Kombat characters, and then I tried seeing how well I could draw them. This is just drawing from imagination once again, trying to draw my own poses in perspective. This was a failure, I just gave up. This was also a failure, I just gave up on it too. And then at this point, I was trying to draw my cat in a military tank, and once again I just get burnt out drawing things, and I just take that as my sign to move on to something else. So I kind of wish I fleshed this image out more, but whatever. Maybe I'll go back to it one day and try to fully render the tank in some sort of background, but I just prefer just to move on to something else, really. And here I wanted to actually like study anatomy, so I'm using my Andrew Loomis figure drawing for all it's worth book, and it's basically just copying the anatomy images on there and trying my best to like remember all the muscle groups and how everything looks. And so I just kept doing repetitions of it each time, trying to force myself to remember the names of everything and where everything's placed. So, and I basically just wanted to do this because I was tired of basically just feeling like a slave to my references and always having to find like the perfect reference for what I want to do instead of like just actually knowing what all the anatomy is. So that's basically what I just did for those couple of days. It's just over and over, just repeat doing this. And I was gonna spend the rest of this year just trying to learn anatomy. And at a certain point, I think I kind of realized that might not be the most effective practice for my art, even in terms of like motivation, because I think I might get burnt out just doing that. And then once I actually go to apply this knowledge at the end of the year, I might realize that I should have actually been making my own characters and applying it from imagination instead of doing like repetitions of this and trying to learn anatomy this way, and then realizing that I actually I learned something but I just don't know how to apply it. This was a pelvis drawing that I learned from a video from Procro on how to draw the pelvis from imagination, which is basically just making a bucket and then cutting out certain portions of it and blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna get into a whole thing about it, but yeah. And then this is a drawing I found on Pinterest of someone else's drawing, and then I just used it to again just practice drawing what I learned earlier about the leg and all that. And then once again, still someone else's drawing that I just copied to practice drawing the legs from different angles, and then more trying to draw the pelvis from different angles again. And then this is a leg from the Quad Fathers. Again, trying to draw the pelvis from different angles and trying to rotate them to the best of my ability. And then I wanted to actually apply what I learned about the legs and anatomy and all that stuff. So I tried drawing composition thumbnails for what I wanted to, of course, draw. But I wasn't really a fan of them, and so I just kind of moved on and just ended up not actually going through with fully rendering the image. So, and then these are just drawings from Procro's video on drawing the legs, because I wanted to again study the leg anatomy and all that. So yeah, that's what all of this is about. And then this is the final page of my sketchbook, but at this point I don't know why I did this really, but I wanted to learn how to properly render shadows on forms. So yeah, that's what that's about. And now it's time to move on to my second sketchbook, so I will see you there. Alright, hello everybody, welcome to my third sketchbook. So again, still trying to learn anatomy. I really don't know how to properly study anatomy. I tried going online, and it seems like every artist has their own idea of how to study anatomy, and then one artist will tell you, oh, don't do this and that, then the other artist will tell you to do exactly what that other artist told you not to do, and then this other artist tells you to do this and that, and I just get so confused on what's the right way to actually do things, but I don't know. So yeah, I just drew this image of some person working out, and I don't know if this was helpful for learning anatomy or not. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I guess some people online will tell you it wasn't, and I'm wasting my time, but yeah, whatever. More compositional thumbnails. I don't know. I was gonna draw a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, grocery shopping, but then I didn't want to draw all the products and stuff like that, so I just scrapped it pretty much every art piece I do. And at this point, I wanted to actually learn to draw poses without any reference at all, because I wanted to not feel so constricted whenever I want to draw something. I want to be able to draw poses as easily as I walk, pretty much, if that makes any sense. I want it to be second nature to me and feel very free-flowing when I want to draw my own pose. What I was trying to do, I was trying to break break my mind into being comfortable with drawing from imagination and drawing my own things. So yeah, that's what all of this is about. And once again, doing the same thing, just trying to make up my own poses. And then this was just trying to really use my imagination and break into really seeing this 2D plane as 3D. So that's what all of this is really about. And then still, once again, trying to draw from imagination. And I was pretty scared to draw from imagination for a while, because then I would have to like face the reality of like, you know, all the practice I've done beforehand being for nothing, and knowing that basically my imagination isn't going to be as good as, you know, if you have the reference right in front of you. But the thing is that I was kind of getting burnt out, because I've gotten pretty good at drawing from, you know, images and being able to copy, but I just kind of felt more of like a copy machine more than like an artist. And I really wanted to learn how to draw because I wanted to be creative and make my own things. So, you know, it kind of got burnt out from trying to, you know, draw from images all the time. So, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out, even though it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't have the oomph that I was hoping for. But again, still just trying to draw from imagination. I'm pretty happy with how this wasn't exactly how I wanted the character to come out, but I'm pretty okay with how it came out. This was something I've been thinking of for a while, but you know, I was always kind of just scared to actually go through with it because of the fear of like failing to draw it. But you know, you really have nothing to lose and everything to gain from attempting to draw those images in your head that you're scared to actually go for, because you think you still need more practice, and you just end up pushing it further and further when you should have just gone for it in the first place and broken the habit of being scared to, you know, draw what you really want to draw. So I'm happy I went for it. Again, trying to draw from imagination once more, and then just putting like notes of things that I really need to work on and think about. But I'm not too concerned with it. I think if I continue drawing from imagination, I'll eventually get there, because I did do a lot of like work on the back end of trying to study like anatomy and all different sorts of things. It's really just, I had to keep practicing, and my mind will grab from my past practices and slowly will start like implementing it into my future practices, if that makes any sense at all. Of like, slowly but surely, I think it will start, you know, my mind will start getting a grip on it and being able to apply the old things into the new things I want to apply. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever, but it made sense in my mind. Again, still drawing from imagination. This is all just trying to draw from imagination. So I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I'm especially happy with how this one came out. Again, it was one of those things where like I was kind of scared to go for it, because I was like, oh, I need more practice and I need to, you know, push it further into the future of like when I'm good enough to actually do something. But then I was just like, screw it, let's just go for it. And if it doesn't turn out well, then all well. It's not really a big deal. At least I got practice, and I at least know what I need to work on in the future. So I went for it, and you know, it's not honestly perfect or what I imagined it to be, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out. This is one of my more favorite images so far, so yeah. And then this one was, again, just from pure imagination. I just felt like just drawing a circle and then just drawing on top of the circle and seeing where I go with it, and just trying to draw, you know, like basic shapes, and just trying to like draw over and just try to render something of my own, and while also trying to make it all make sense. And I'm pretty happy with how this came out, especially since I didn't use any references for it. Like, and the thing about not using references, it's not that I'm like above using references or whatever. I will use references, but it's more of like, it's very freeing to just be able just to sit down and with just a pencil and your sketchbook and just draw something like very freely without having to distract yourself with going online and trying to look up things, and it just breaks up the whole like flow of everything you were doing. So I'm pretty happy with how this came out. Again, I didn't render it fully, obviously, but you know, I'm happy. Okay. And this was, I don't know what this was really, but I guess no explanation needed. And this was supposed to be like a battle scene between like Scorpion and some other Mortal Kombat character, and I was gonna draw something over them, like the armor or the clothes they wear. But once again, I just I always get halfway through whatever I'm drawing, and I'm like, nope, that's good enough. I don't care anymore, and then I just move on to the next thing. And then this is try to draw heads for imagination in different poses for future art pieces and stuff that I want to do. I think I need to learn to draw expressions on people's faces as well. I'm not really too good with that. It's probably very simple. I just don't know why I'm like pushing it off again. But more just trying to draw from imagination. This is really what this sketchbook has turned into, is trying to break away from drawing from references so much and relying on references so much, and just trying to see what I've learned and what I need to work on in terms of like what is in my imagination or what's in like my arsenal. So yeah, that's what all of this is for, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out so far. Once again, just drawing some character from imagination, and then I tried looking at references for like armor, like mechanical armor and stuff like that for the anatomy, and trying to make it my own. And this is how it came out, which whatever, this is all for practice, so I'm not too upset with how it came out. Again, more imagination. And then this, I don't know, I just gave up. This again, I gave up on. I was gonna do something with it, but this is me trying to draw my frustrations with drawing, and this is just me sitting at my desk throwing all the paper like away. So yeah, this is me trying to draw my corgi, using my corgi as a reference, but trying to put him into a different perspective for like a more dynamic, like heroic shot. And I was going to put armor on him, but then the same thing as always is I just give up halfway when I get burnt out trying to draw. And then I didn't want to think about like how is the armor going to fit onto the corgi and not restrict its movement and all this other stuff, and then how is the armor going to reflect, and it was just too much, and then I get overwhelmed and I just move on. So again, using my Andrew Loomis book to study anatomy further. Again, don't know how effective this is, so yeah. And then this was supposed to be a thumbnail sketch of like some scene of like some getaway car, then this person like shooting at the plane, and the plane shooting down at the truck or whatever. And this was really just supposed to like block in the perspective and see if it was even a good idea in the first place. And then I just liked the thumbnail too much, and then I was like, I'm just not gonna fully render it onto like a full page because I'm happy with how this came out. So I just moved on. Again, just trying to draw anatomy from imagination. It still needs work, obviously, but that's why I want to draw, just to see what exactly it is that I need to work on, and then using a reference later to see what I got wrong. And then this was my final piece for this sketchbook. This wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, but I wanted to draw like this pose right here, like in Mortal Kombat with Scorpion, but it just ended up turning out like this. And then I just kind of improvised the weird like look of this character, and yeah, it's just basically how it came out. And this wasn't at all what I was going for, but I improvised and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So this is the end of this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and peace.